Frida, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really enjoyed the story of Sally and her journey that she went on. So thank you for, translating that to film. I myself didn't know about the story. And I'm curious how you jumped on board and if you knew much about Sally and the story before filming it.
Well, I 8 years ago, I read a novel, a Swedish novel called Happy Sally, where Sally Bauer was mentioned, and I thought, well, this is a fiction character, right? Uh, but it wasn't. And I was surprised and at the same time a bit upset because we're talking about women who have achieved these great things, and I wished when I was a young girl that I have knew about her. Not that I maybe should cross the English Channel, but the swim is a symbol for whatever you want to do in your life, and I think it's really important for especially women's um to know that there are others who do things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's an inspiration for many women. Surprised that this her story you didn't really connect to many generations following for her to but now you've translated her story, you've told her story on the big screen. So now her story can be told to a new generation, a new audience of women that can connect to her story. And her story is very relatable. Unfortunately, things that have happened to her, almost 100 years ago, still an issue today. I'm just wondering how this story may have impacted you when you were reading the script and how you connected with it.
Yes, when I found out that Sally, the real Sally Bauer, was a mother, that really connected me to the story. Because I'm not a single mother, but I know how difficult it is to have these, big dreams of being a filmmaker and being a good mother. And it's sometimes, you get questioned that, why are you on set? Why aren't you home? And even though there is a partner, involved taking care of the kids and they're doing fine, we have this I think the motherhood is a interesting question because it's a lot of shame and guilt for women.
Hmm.
And we have that from the start when the kids are born, and I think men also, fathers also, but it's something to put women on and saying that we should take the whole responsibility and we can't have dreams at the same time. So it's an
Yeah,
issue still, and it's sad. So it's
yeah.
a modern story, even though it takes place 85 years ago. So
Yeah, I can see how you can connect with it, and a lot of women specifically in Hollywood or the film industry because of like really tight schedules, travel, things like that. I was just actually talking to another actress, another interview that I did earlier today, and she had an issue where she was pregnant while about to start filming, and she wasn't sure if she needed to tell the production team that she was pregnant, right? And these are issues that women deal with in the film industry, with having children and going on maternity leave and things like that.
yeah, it still gives us boundaries in so many ways, and I really think we should talk about it more.
Yeah. So Sally, she's I enjoyed those scenes where Sally is dealing with her family, her friends and everyone kind of giving her slack for leaving her child, even in situations where she's leaving it with someone that she trusts. Those scenes were really impactful because just I think any parent would really connect with that, and understand that yes, everything is your child comes first, but she believed in the person watching her child. So I really connected with those scenes. I really enjoyed those scenes. I thought those obviously the water scenes were incredibly shot. I could imagine there being a wide scale of different cameras used. Can you talk a little bit about all of the different water scenes, underwater, the aerial shots, and how they were all from went from conceptualization to actual realization?
Yeah, it took me some time to find the look in pre-production, because I think a lot of period movies is so polished, you know. They're so everything is so
Mm,
beautiful, and I wanted this
yeah,
to be kind of raw, because I mean it's water, it's salt, it's blood, and it's sweat, and I really want the lead actors and the audience to feel that, you know. So I found out that 16 we shot on 16 on land. I was fighting to do that also in the water, but I'm happy now afterwards that we didn't, because that will, you know, I don't think we could have make that. But the 16 gave some kind of texture to it that I really liked. And we shot on digital on the ocean. But I mean, we used a lot of, there were like cranes and drones and underwater shots. And the only thing that was important for me when I talked to the DOP was that we have to visualize in the ocean how she feels. I mean, it's her feeling. If she feel the freedom, of course, we should go up and fly. But if she feel, you know, the struggle and claustrophobia, we should be really tight with her and use another kind of style to that. And the whole story is almost like through her eyes, through her. So as long as we were, you know, trust that feeling and that emotion, that would symbolize the visual to it.
yeah. I think one of my favorite shots and moments in the film underwater was the night scene where she's underwater at night, and I that was one of those moments where I'm like I was questioning how was this even done? How was this even filmed? Can you talk about that scene and how you managed to capture that moment underwater
Yeah.
and in the dark?
Yes. I mean, I like to push my characters, and I told Joseph in play Sally from the beginning that I want to be on location as much as possible. So we were like 90% in the real oceans, just, you know, also for the character to the actors to really feel that what Sully felt, and I think
Mhm.
that really helped the acting. But there was a few shots that we couldn't manage to do on location, so we did one day of a tank, and those were the shots when we were really close to her. So we used a digital camera that were really close to her, and she was in this she was fixed. Someone was holding her feet, and she was
Mhm.
crawling towards the towards the camera. And for me, it was almost like a Rocky moment, because you know that, you know, the fighting face, almost
Yeah.
like, you know, and to have that scream also was like it was her, to push her as much as possible. And I think I agree with you. I think that those are one of my favorite shots as well, because you can really feel like uh, you know, it's this means so much to her
Yeah.
that she's ready to almost die to fulfill her dream.
Yeah. One very important, I think, creative choice, but that initial, the very opening sequence of her freezing in the water, I think set the tone very well. The pain and suffering that she is about to endure throughout the film. I think anyone has felt extreme cold. So I immediately got a chill, thinking how cold she is. So I think I love that choice because I immediately felt it's like a stepping stone for all of the pain she's about to endure throughout the film. So that was a great creative choice.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that was again like really show the rawness, and
Mhm.
how can I translate her feeling? How can I translate the coldness to the audience and really feel it? And yeah, it was for me it was yeah, the right choice. And it
Yeah.
was also true to the real Sally. She was almost trying freezing her to death in one of the race.
I saw you shot a short film back in 2010 called Bathing Mickey.
Yes.
And I was curious if that was kind of a stepping stone to this project, or have you looked back at that project about the woman who's in this bathing club, who loves swimming? and how the two have connected and how you've grown since that short film.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few movies, shorts and features now, so it's first, I think now that I can, start to look back and see what am I doing, It's a it wasn't the first step towards the Swedish Torpedo, but it's the same water, and it's
Hmm.
really interesting why I always coming back to this water. I love water. But I also like, water to take a shower. I think it's really, if you're stressed,
Hmm.
then it's great to be in water, and it can change your character almost like going into something else. And but I think the ocean is, I mean, they are connected, these stories, because they both see the ocean as a possibility to change their life, their way, how they should live. Um, and yes, and they also swim in the same oceans, but it's for me, it's the ocean stands for freedom and
Hmm.
possibilities and no limits, but it could also be dangerous, and so it's a really effectful element to have in movies.
Yeah, absolutely. The Swedish Torpedo is opening up here at the Toronto International Film Festival. First opportunity to screen it is next week on the 12th, 13th, and 14th. There's a few screenings happening next week. So it gives audience members an opportunity to screen it here at the festival. Really looking forward to seeing people's reactions to it. Um, how do you feel about it opening up in Toronto?
It's great. I mean, it says something that is a universal story that a lot of people can connect to it. So I'm really happy to have the. Of course, I'm nervous. It's premiere and all that, but
Mhm.
I've been to Toronto before, not to the festival, but I've been to the city before, and I love it. So it's great to come back.
Great. So you'll be here for the premiere?
Yes,
Awesome.
I will.
Awesome. Well, Frida, thank you so much for chatting with me, and I look forward to seeing audience reactions, and hopefully I catch you at the premiere.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.